Welcome to my digital story, a short journey through my hometown of Brisbane and the local surroundings. I would like to acknowledge and pay my respect to the traditional owners of the land on which this digital story is compiled, the Jagera Tribal Nation south of the Brisbane River and the Turrbal Nation north of the Brisbane River. Footage on this video extends east to Stradbroke Island, and therefore I would also like to acknowledge the Quandamooka and Noonuccal people. My journey began at Peace Park in Brighton, a bayside suburb to the north of Brisbane, featuring an Aboriginal bush culture trail focusing on food sources in the area with hand-painted and carved totems depicting plants and animals. My heart sank as I saw the condition of the park and the lack of care and maintenance. I then moved south to Boondall Wetlands, which once contained campsites and ceremonial grounds where food, fibre, medicines and other resources were gathered by local tribes. Today, the wetlands are scattered with 18 cast aluminium totems that symbolise aspects of Indigenous culture in the wetlands and were part of a project undertaken by the Brisbane City Council in 1996. The information centre of the wetlands contains a small display of Aboriginal artefacts enclosed in a glass cabinet in one corner of the room, a somewhat tokenistic approach to the traditional owners of the land. The journey then moved southwest to Mount Cootha, where I set out to find the Aboriginal Art Trail, a 1.5 kilometre walking trail featuring 8 artworks. The sun was starting to set as I made my way down the mountain from the summit towards my destination, and as I was the only person around, I seized the opportunity to immerse myself in the beauty of the area. And for the first time in my life, I considered what Brisbane must have been like before colonisation. What a pristine paradise it would have been before white men invaded and stole the land from its traditional owners. A sign at the beginning of the art trail informs that Mount Cootha contains a number of significant sites used by Aborigines as part of their traditional lifestyle. The artworks along the trail represent mythical symbols and beings and were created in 1993 in acknowledgement of the International Year for the World's Indigenous People. Perhaps it's a cynic in me, but again I feel that this display is perhaps somewhat tokenistic and feels targeted at tourism more so than a genuine acknowledgement and valuing of Indigenous culture. As I drove home, I passed a beautiful image of an Indigenous child painted on the pillar of a train bridge. How many times have I driven this route and not noticed? I passed a bus with a targeted deadly ad. Had I never seen this before either? I wanted to capture the street art painted on the external walls of the South Brisbane train station, but it was covered with construction hoardings. Even Musgrave Park seemed to be consumed in the progress of construction and earthworks. So whilst yes, there is indeed evidence of Indigenous culture in my hometown of Brisbane and its surrounds, it is not as evident as it should be. My heart felt heavy as I even searched online for more evidence. What I found was a people who, instead of accepting defeat and surrendering to the invasion that occurred so long ago, were loud in voice and strong in resolve to continue the fight that has been ongoing since colonisation. I firmly believe that all Australians, regardless of the colour of our skin, our heritage or our own First Nation, must unite to enable decolonisation to take effect. We need to seize every opportunity to add to their voice and to progress decolonisation. Simply saying sorry is not enough. Thank you for watching my digital story.